shooter is pretty much equally horrible.
David Wheeler's son, 6-year-old Ben Wheeler, was one of the 20 children who died in the mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary in Connecticut. 5 years later, Wheeler and other parents continue to push for tighter gun laws.
Sandy Hook is part of a surge in mass shootings in recent years, jumping from 7 incidents in the year 2000 to 134 in 2015. The Centers for Disease Control reported more than 33,000 people died from gun incidents in 2016. About 2/3 of those were suicides. That's 3.85 deaths per 100,000 people in the U.S. by guns. Compare that to Canada with a 0.48 gun death rate, or Albania, which had the highest rate in all of Europe at 1.72. KCRG TV9 Chantelle Navarro went looking for what sounds like the impossible, the solution to gun violence in the U.S.
Chantelle joins us now. What did you find out?
Well, Beth and Bruce, it's not an easy answer to find. Gun rights advocates and gun dealers tell me the law is working and point to a larger issue. But the families of victims of gun violence say something needs to change.
Well, mass shootings like the one that I survived are the least common cause of gun deaths in this country. They gain the most national attention. And
for Marianne Jacobs, the reality of Sandy Hook shooting still seems unreal.
There was one shooter, a male.
The school librarian hid in a closet with 18 kids and 3 other staff for more than an hour.
You know, listening to the gunfire go on and on and on, I have to honestly tell you that it never translated in my mind to people dying. I don't know why. I mean, it seems obvious in retrospect that's what was happening, but I don't think we have the capacity necessarily to think about stuff like that in circumstances like that.
For Sandy Hook families, easy access to guns are the cause of too many deaths, from mass shootings to suicides.
Most people try to commit suicide once. The problem is when you do it with a gun, you're usually successful.
That's an epidemic. If lawnmowers killed 33,000 people a year, I think we would do something about lawnmowers.
Bad guys steal guns. There's a lot of that.
Ernie Troff sees a different cause.
Now stare at the box. I want you to press the trigger smoothly and do it again while you're still right there.
He sells guns at Cedar Valley Outfitters and says the laws aren't the issue. To buy a handgun from Troff or anyone in Iowa, you need a permit to purchase from the sheriff. That requires a background check.
Committed of domestic violence, if you're a felon of any sort, and then the other one would be, you know, if you were dishonorably discharged from the military, or if you have been deemed mentally incompetent by an actual court.
But not for a shotgun or long gun, including the AR-style rifle the gunman used at Sandy Hook. You can buy that in Iowa with no permit. Licensed dealers are required to run a federal background check, but not for private sales. That is a so-called gun show loophole, letting private citizens sell a gun without a permit. But Troff says even that is breaking the law.
Does it involve less paperwork? Absolutely it does. Does it skip like, hey, I can just sell it to anybody? Definitely not true if it's a handgun. They have to have a permit. But, you know, a long gun, the law says that you and your friends that are private citizens in Iowa, you can sell a shotgun to your friend if they just prove to you they're over 18 years old and they live in Iowa.
Johnson County Sheriff Lonnie Polkrobic admits Iowa's gun laws aren't perfect.
People that have lengthy criminal records are able to get permits to carry a weapon, and people who have severe mental health issues are able to get a permit to carry a weapon.
And that's one issue sheriffs and both sides in the gun debate seem to agree on. To fix gun violence, you need to address mental health too.
We know more about the surface of the moon than we know about the human brain, than what's between our ears.
If someone's set to do harm, they'll do it one way or another, whether they use a rental truck and fertilizer bomb or whether they use a gun.
And Troff reminds those who do own guns to always keep them locked away for safety.